My name is Samira. Today I'm a grandmother. People know me as a calm, loving woman who always has a warm plate of food ready and a kind story to tell. But behind the gentle smiles and soft wrinkles, there's a past that still stirs when the house is too quiet. A past I had buried under years of motherhood, hard work, and silence. It all started when I was 16. My father had passed away 2 years earlier. He was a quiet man, but kind. The kind who repaired broken chairs in the yard, who walked slowly beside my mother in the evenings. When he died, it felt like the sky over our home collapsed. My mother, once full of song and spice, became a shadow that we managed. Somehow, I started helping around the house, skipping school sometimes so my little sister Miriam had someone to walk her home. We had our own little world, just the two of us. She would sit on my bed and braid my hair while telling me stories she made up. Her imagination was limitless. Then he came. His name was Ramin. At first, he was like a patch over our broken life. He smiled a lot, complimented my mother in ways she hadn't heard in years. He brought groceries, fixed the broken cabinet my dad never had time to fix. And slowly, very slowly, he became part of our lives. My mother was happy again. For the first time in 2 years, she laughed out loud. She sang again while cooking. I wanted to believe he was good for us. But children see what adults don't want to. Miriam never liked him, not even in the beginning. She would pull at my sleeve whenever he entered the room. She stopped talking when he was nearby. I noticed, but I was too afraid to say anything. Too afraid to ruin our mother's happiness. It began subtly. Ramin would tell Miriam her hair was messy every single day. He'd sigh loudly when she spilled crumbs, or rolled her eyes when she stuttered. "You're too soft," he'd mutter. "Stop acting like a baby." Miriam was only 10. Then came the rules. She had to ask permission before opening the fridge. She wasn't allowed in the living room when he watched TV. He'd correct her speech, mock her drawings, erase her from family conversations. And my mother, she didn't see it. Or maybe she chose not to. I started noticing the small changes. Miriam stopped humming. She would stay in her room, even when guests came. She no longer showed me her little stories or asked to braid my hair. My little sunshine was dimming right in front of me. One evening, I came home to find her curled up in the corner of her room, quietly tearing one of her drawings into tiny pieces. I sat beside her. She looked up, eyes red, and whispered, "I'm not good at anything. He says I ruin everything." I don't know what happened in that exact moment, but something in me broke, like a string being pulled too tight finally snapping. I wrapped her in my arms and said, "He's wrong. You're perfect. You hear me? You are enough." That night, I didn't sleep. I began documenting. I wrote everything I had seen, every insult, every cold comment, every tear my sister shed in silence. I wrote the dates, the times, even how long she stayed locked in her room. Then I did something I was terrified to do. I gave the notebook to my aunt. She was a school counselor, always calm, always precise. She didn't say much after reading it. She just closed it, looked me in the eyes, and said, "You did the right thing. Now let me handle the rest." Over the next weeks, quiet changes began. My aunt visited more often. She started asking questions during dinner. My mother began noticing. She saw how silent Miriam had become, how scared she was. One day, she overheard Ramin mocking her in the kitchen. That was the crack in the wall. My aunt confronted him, gently but firmly. There was no shouting, No threats. Just truth. Eventually, Ramin left. Not overnight, but slowly and permanently. My mother, heartbroken again, had to face the pain of choosing the wrong man. But she finally saw what we were living through. She apologized. She held Miriam that night, really held her for the first time in years. And my sister? She began singing again, quietly at first, then freely. Years passed. She grew into a bright, thoughtful woman, now a teacher herself. And every year, without fail, she gives her students empty journals and tells them, "Write what you feel. Even if no one reads it, your story matters." As for me, well, I became the guardian of our family's truth, the one who stood up, not just for Miriam, but for every little voice that went unheard. Now, when my grandchildren sit on my lap and ask me to tell them a story, I smile. I say, "Let me tell you about the bravest little girl I ever knew." If this story moved you, please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear that courage sometimes begins with a whisper. Your voice matters. Always.